I've said this before and I'll say it again because I feel like it's necessary. We have a guest. Keeping your word to yourself is the only route. It is one of those needs as far as achieving anything in life that is non-negotiable. It's a requirement. So you have to keep your word to yourself. And you have to make sure that you're not saying things that you're gonna do and actively choose not to do them for whatever reason. And the reason why is because neurologically, you're training yourself, and this is proven, you're training yourself to not believe in yourself. And when you don't believe in yourself, this creates discord, dissonance in relationship to your experience, being the people in your experience, people who are reflecting you, your environment, your circumstance on every level, whether it be mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, energetic, whatever level you could really come up with. It's going to affect all of those areas. And those areas are essential for your well-being, right? We must keep our words to ourselves, and we also must keep our word to others. When we are honest with ourselves,
Do they bite?
truly, and we set out to make it a point to be honest with ourselves and with our lives, we are put in a very vulnerable position. That makes it so that what I'm communicating to you, is only going to reach the hearts, the souls who are truly ready to acknowledge. And I'm here to give you the reasons why it's worth it. Number one, it's a requirement. There's no other way around it that is going to align to a healthy state of mind, a healthy state of being. It's kind of like, oh, it's okay, I'll get my water from drinking Coca-Cola. It's all good, don't worry. I'll get my water from drinking sugary drinks and think that I'm going to be hydrated. It's not happening, right? So it's a requirement. But beyond that, there's other reasons why it's worth it. When you choose to be vulnerable, and you choose to assess your situation, and you choose to be fully 150% responsible for everything in your life. Not in a way that's detrimental, not in a way that doesn't acknowledge who you are, but in a way that says, okay, I am what is holding me back. This is the reason why I've been held back in all these different areas, not because other people. So there's no pointing of the fingers there. This is giving your life a certain level of respect. When you make yourself responsible for your own life, you give yourself more self-respect. And who does not want to feel respected? If I were to come into this land and just start ripping the flowers off, and I started pouring gasoline in everywhere and started setting it on fire, I don't think that would be appreciated very much. And that's what you end up doing when you try to make things about everybody else but you. You start fires. And when this develops as a pattern, you almost lose sight of what's actually going on. And then you start to put in all these manifestation techniques from an unhealthy position, right? Because there's the laws of the universe, There's various different laws that you can entertain, that you can exercise and practice to your advantage. But if you're exercising those laws from an unhealthy position, from a position that doesn't have accountability and the ability to acknowledge and assess accurately, that's where you start to set these fires, and then you find yourself surrounded by fire, and then you're blaming the creator, you're blaming that which is perfectly designed with no flaw, or you're blaming others who are responsible or who are in a position that you would like to be, and you come up with all kinds of reasons as to why they're the reason. And I know I'm talking to somebody, so it's worth it. You deserve respect, and you will never get that. You can't outsource your respect. Another reason why it's essential for you to keep your word to yourself. It makes things move smoothly. Your brain, it is proven that your brain likes rhythms and cycles and predictability. That doesn't mean that you can't move outside the margin and you can't create some level of unpredictability and the sense of excitement and having different experiences. But no matter where you are, as you traverse through space, it's grounded. You have this something to ground you, to anchor you. So you say you're going to wake up at a specific time, and you wake up. Your body likes that rhythm. And when you have a relationship with your body where you're considering what it likes, what it needs, it believes you, it supports you just like you support it. And it becomes stronger. And when you have the strength and you build the strength within you, the mental strength, the physical strength, the emotional strength, things become smoother, easier to navigate. So how does it affect the emotional strength? When things move more smoothly, you are less vulnerable to the chaos created from not keeping your word to yourself consistently over time, and then trying to compensate with lies. So we don't want to put ourselves in that vulnerable position, because what does it do? It emotionally weakens you. And then when you choose to lie and finesse your way out of that chaos, you weaken yourself to a point where you don't even know how detrimental you're being to your own self. Whereas the other option, the better option, that fosters a healthy lifestyle and results that you actually want to experience in your life, creates more emotional fortitude, more mental clarity, more physical strength. And these all feed into one another. And you will see results. You will 150% see results. Choose one thing that you will not waver from. I was taught and guided by someone who is excellent at this to choose a time to wake up. Decide, and do not waver from that choice. If you have to make an adjustment at some point because something in your life has shifted radically, do that. Make that shift, but abide by that. And don't make a shift every day and say, oh, I'm just abiding by the shift that was needed. No, it has to be action needed. Choose a time to wake up and abide by it. Allow that to anchor you. What is your vice? What is the thing that is holding you back, that makes you feel like shit when you do it, or that you know you're utilizing it as a comfort? But in the back of your mind or in the forefront of your face, you see, okay, this needs to stop. Consciously choose to remove it out of the equation. So what's an example of that? Waking up and eating a bag of chips. Curbing, training your body so that you have energy moving in your body. Not working. Choosing to not work. To not make money when you need that to sustain yourself. You need to be able to provide yourself with food, shelter, things that you need. So you have to remove these mindsets out of the equation that says, it doesn't matter. It's whatever. This is what ends up happening. This is the chaos that you exist in when you don't keep your word to yourself. So whoever is resonating with this, I want you to realize and recognize that it's time to be honest with yourself. It's time to audit yourself. It's time to truly understand why this is the path that will lead you to a healthier position. Do not expect to be mentally healthy. Do not expect to be emotionally grounded. Do not expect to live a life that feels resonant within your heart when you are choosing and you're making excuses to do the things that diminish your well-being. Or you're choosing the things that are training your brain to say, he's not reliable. Don't trust him. You have this body. You have to create a harmonious relationship with your body. Without that, your foundation is weak. And your body is not just physical, like I always say. And my words are not harsh. This is the base level. This is not some kind of message of empowerment, or this is like the equivalent of me saying, hey, your breath smells, you should brush your teeth. This is the equivalent of me saying, hey, you need to shower, right? It's expected of you. You don't go into a workplace not showered, smelling crust and gunk in your teeth. You clean yourself up. And you don't look at that as a threat. This mindset that doing these things, that keeping your word to yourself, that being responsible is a threat, is you existing in the chaos created from not keeping your word to yourself and emotionally compensating by digging yourself into a deeper hole, by making excuses, by pointing the finger outward. And you have to be able to protect yourself, but you cannot discern what is the proper course of action as it pertains to being in relationships with others, or as it pertains to making decisions, life-altering decisions. With any sort of mental clarity when you yourself are not keeping your word to yourself. So it might be valid for you to feel like, oh, well, this person or that situation is what's making me feel emotional distress. 100%. I'm not here to invalidate your experience. But I'm also not here to just look at one aspect of it. You have to get to the root cause. Or else we're just slapping a Band-Aid on it and we're just being emotional crutches. I'm not an emotional crutch. I am a guide. In every sense of the word. On every level. So if you want to protect yourself, or if you want to have proper discernment so that you're not dealing with all of these people and these circumstances, you have to accept the fact that these things are born of something that is within you. And when you do keep your word to yourself and you have a solid foundation and you create a rhythm for yourself, this is another benefit. You can see through those things. It's like you have X-ray vision and you just curve. You don't have to deal with it. You're not even anywhere in the vibrational frequency to perceive certain things. Or if you are, because it's naturally good, you're going to have to look at that. Even if you're operating at the highest level, you're going to have to observe things that are bitter to the taste in a very unpleasant way. But you're going to be able to navigate it in a way that's respectable. You have your dignity. You know who you are. You know who you are. You know thyself. And you don't seek validation, and you don't seek comfort in things that appear externally like attractive. But then when you get a closer view, it's like, I don't know about that. And you don't have to learn the hard way anymore. You do not have to learn the hard way. It's easy. You choose yourself. You choose your rhythm consistently with conviction. You choose your rhythm. You keep your word to yourself. You get up. It does not matter. No matter what. And you don't do it for anybody other than you and for what your heart and your soul represents. What are you here to do? It opens these doors. Now you're not dealing with other people's energy all the time, and you don't feel weighed down by situations that you don't need to learn from. This misconception that we have to learn through these lessons. We have to constantly learn these lessons. There's also lessons that you have to let go of. That you have to say, hey, actually, I've peeped that a million times. I'm good on that. I'm not doing it. And the beautiful thing about it is that you're having an experience within yourself. This is your life. Nobody's going to be hurt. Truly, everybody is focused on their own lives. And even if they were focused upon you, we are all connected. So you making that choice for yourself is a selfless act. It might feel selfish. People might look at you and say you're selfish. People might look at you and say whatever. They might have a problem with you for choosing yourself. And you have to get through these layers. There's layers on layers on layers as you choose consciously to do what's best for you. So I understand the pain that's born of having to push through that. The benefits of keeping your word to yourself far outweigh the illusion of what is the word? It's an illusion of being right. This isn't about being right. When you keep your word to yourself and you have this track record and you build this foundation for yourself, you're not right because you want to be right, so you force yourself into a position of righteousness. You're right because you have data that's measurable, that nobody can tweak. You have to be able to know what is motivating you. That's a great way to assess yourself. What is your motivation? What's making you want to do a certain thing? What's making you want to communicate to a certain person in a particular way? What's prompting you to do what you're doing? Is it your love to show up for yourself and others at a level that you respect truly and that everybody respects undeniably? Or is it to compensate for something that you're lacking? This is the survival mode, and we've all been programmed to be in a survival mode to some extent. Even the most wealthiest and privileged people who were born into these situations are compensating on some level, because that is the way that things have been constructed. And we are learning how to deconstruct that as we are building this new earth. As everything is crumbling, we are rebuilding. And it's not easy, it's painful. But you should be grateful, because things are crumbling in the realest sense in places where people don't have access to food, water, shelter, nothing, in the worst way. They have no foreseeable end to the immense levels of suffering that they're experiencing. So we don't have to give our time and our mind, our powerful mind, to cry about what? I get it. It depends on your situation. If you're going through something really hard, you're not necessarily supposed to look at who has it worse, but you have opportunity. You have an opportunity to make a change. And people who are going through something immense, they must move forward. They must push forward. You have an opportunity to be in that position of moving forward, pushing forward with conviction, even if you feel weak, even if you feel afraid, from a position where you actually have things available to you. Do not ever say that you're going to do something that you're not going to do. Clarify, communicate. Allow people enough space to communicate. And do not allow yourself to give of yourself to people who are experiencing these patterns of behavior and experiencing the consequences of those patterns of behavior. It's really easy to detect once you get into a rhythm. So I challenge you, and I suggest for those of you who truly watch, to choose another thing, or one thing if you haven't already, and keep your word about it, and watch yourself. Witness the way your mind is going to beg you to make an excuse and to hold yourself back. That's training the mind. You get up every day and you say, I'm going to do Qigong at this time every single day. Okay, something changes. I'm still going to do Qigong. I'm not going to avoid it. I'm not going to not do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to train every single day. I'm going to cut sugar out of my life, and I'm going to only eat natural sugars. No more Aunt Jemima. I'm going to eat maple syrup every day. I'm going to eat agave or date syrup every day instead of this processed whatever. And I'm going to do that with conviction. I'm not going to allow myself any wiggle room, any space to create some kind of narrative as to why I'm going to do it anyways. Not only in one area, in all areas of your life that are required of you to grow in order to actually be mentally healthy. Every single level. And if you don't know what to do in a particular situation, I'm going to choose every single day to learn something new and to apply something into my life every single day from somebody who knows a little bit better.